The Thatcher legislation designed to break the power of organised labour in our country, and the regretful decision of the party of organised labour, this party, to do nothing about it in 13 years in office. But this year I hardly need to engage in new flights of rhetoric. I could tell you that the new law proposed by the government is not fit for purpose, but the government's own Regulatory Policy Committee has already done so. I could say it's unnecessary, but the Police Federation have already done so. I could argue that it breaches fundamental human rights, but I'd only be repeating what Liberty and Amnesty International have stated publicly. But if I really wanted to give wings to my rhetoric, I would tell conference that some of the Tory plans are more appropriate for a fascist dictatorship. Angela was right. Angela was right to point out that David Davis, a Tory MP who believes in freedom, has beaten me to that punch too. As she said, he has made it clear that some of the measures in the new bill would be more suitable to a Franco regime than a democracy. So there's a lot I don't need to say to you today. But there's one thing that does need to be made clear, arising from that list of critics of the trade union bill. It's this: when a united Labour Party opposes this legislation in Parliament, it will not be fighting alone as we too often were in the 1980s. A broad section of democratic public opinion sees this legislation for what it is: an unnecessary, illiberal and spiteful attack on free trade unionism, driven by the crude class resentment of the Tory right wing. We need to mobilise that broader opinion behind our campaign to challenge this legislation. We also, conference, need to seize the arguments of democracy and modernisation, the arguments used against us in the past. So I say this to ministers today: if your concern about turnout in strike ballots is genuine, then scrap the archaic and undemocratic reliance on postal ballots and give trade unionists the right to secure, secret workplace balloting. I say to them, modernise the voting system, and there will no longer be a turnout problem. If ministers agree, then we can reach an agreement on thresholds. If they refuse, then this law will be seen for what it is: a cynical attempt to deny British workers the right to strike. And let me make one thing clear: whatever the law says, I'll be on the picket line when Unite members are on strike, and I will not be wearing an armband with a red triangle like the trade union president. Remember, that's what the Nazis did. Trade unionists in the concentration camps of Dachau made to wear armbands with red triangles. We won't be doing that. The trade union bill also aims to destroy the Labour Party by depriving it of trade union money, the cleanest in politics, already subject to public scrutiny, unlike the hedge fund billions buying the Tory party. It's the mentality of the one-party state creeping in. And I promise you this, colleagues, we will not see the political voice of working people silenced. Understand that, Prime Minister. We will not let the Tories buy their way to perpetual power. Defeating this bill is not just about trade unions. It's about the rights of the British people and the integrity of our democracy. Ours is a movement to uphold the liberties, which our forefathers and mothers fought and often died for. Free speech, free association, free assembly. Sisters and brothers, we must stay strong. There's a beautiful poem by Emily Dickinson which I want to share with you. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tunes without the words and never stops at all. That's what we represent, comrades. That's what Jeremy and John represent. Hope, the most powerful of all human emotions. Don't let those in the right-wing media or the defeatists in our own ranks debilitate your resolve. Believe in our values of fairness and equality. It's those beliefs that will carry us through the difficult battles that lie ahead and towards a better future for our people. I move.